Hey you guys, how you doing? It's been a while. I'm sorry. Ended up, granddaughter got married. We were very involved in that. And then my husband and I renewed our vows. Been married several years. I'm not going to say how many. Anyways, so it's been kind of chaotic, other things. And not that this is not important, believe me, it is. But one thing that I've noticed right now with my students, because they're kind of going down, they've got about 4 weeks left, maybe 3 weeks really, before they have to move on to the next class. And the next class, they start taking care of clients, and they really expect them to kind of know what they're doing. So the one thing I'm teaching them right now, because the last thing I teach them is clipper cutting. And that's because that's the shortest haircut. Once the hair's gone, you can't teach them a long haircut. It's not there anymore. So what I have found is they still don't get the fact about carving. And I'm using this mannequin here, and it's been cut a little bit. It's probably going to drive me a little crazy. But what I want you to pick up today, I always teach carving on longer hair. I know many teachers will go in and they just right away take the clipper out. But once you've done it, the hair's gone. So it's best to learn it in longer hair and learn the method, learn the movement, learn the strokes. Look at it to see what you've got. Am I going in the right direction? I can always tell when a student has, when you're cutting a guy's haircut, and I see it in a lot of videos, and they do real good to cover it up afterwards. But when you pick up the hair horizontally, in any sense, to cut it, it's going to create a hard line. And I'm going to show that to you. Even if you go up and layer it, I did get somebody that wanted the graduated. In other words, the graduated is an A-line. Everything is brought to the back, and they wanted it done horizontally. Evidently, somebody taught them horizontally, but they don't know how to get rid of the hard lines. In other words, the straight lines across that make it look a little heavy. So I want to, I've got to do that video for you guys to show you how to still slightly, everything, the head is round. When you're coming across, especially a flat area, you have to do it diagonally. When you're coming across a rounded area, you do it slightly diagonally. Not extreme, just slightly, but then you go back in with other tools, a texture shear, and so on to get rid of those hard lines. You can see that this one's been layered a little bit, but still yet, know where you're at. I mean, I've got all these numbered, frontal fringe. This is your frontal fringe, your bang area, fringe area. It is the front. It is the front of your face, the front of your head right here. The frontal fringe, okay? Number 2 is the flat part. I call it the flat part because it is flat. Even on a mannequin, it's flat. On you, it's flat. That makes it real, but it is called the temporal area. The problem with that, if you look at a medical book, the parietal line is this whole area. Parietal, but we call it temporal. But realistically, what is it? It's flat. Before it starts curving around the head to become rounded, this is the flattest part and the area that we have, unless you have a beard, the least amount of hair. That's it. Okay? So, and you can number these any way you want. I mean, I've shown you how to do the question mark. I've shown you how to do the number 1 and then the number 2. Number them any way you want. Just know where you're at. Because the biggest thing is, when I'm teaching you, I'm talking about those places. They don't have these specific numbers. I just kind of numbered them just to separate them. But if you want to number the apex as number 1 because that's in the very top, that's fine. Do what's comfortable for you. But all right, so 3 and 4, upper and lower ridge. 5, the parietal line. Where's the parietal line? You put your comb right there and it just comes right across. That is that center of that curve of the head. You're going to hear people that are cutting the hair, cutting it short, the curve of the head. Well, that's the very center of it. And if you know where the center is at, you know where the parietal line is at. All right, so number 6, the vertex. The vertex, again, I've talked to you about it before. That's on the very back, center back of the head. If you know exactly where that's at, you can do a perfect mohawk because you know where it's at. That's where the comb leaves the head. It's slightly above the parietal line. So we know we're both then speaking the same language. So it doesn't matter how you number them, just know where they're at. All right, and then we have, let's see, all right, the apex, highest portion of the head. That's where the models put their books and stuff and start walking around, and that's the highest part of the head. Also rounded on some situations. I have seen where you can put your palm on there, but the apex is like a goose egg. That's what it's shaped like, because initially the upper ridge travels from the frontal area all the way around. And the lower ridge, you know, the lower ridge is down here, the upper ridge is there. The upper ridge, inside the upper ridge is where you have your frontal fringe or bang, if you want to get very detailed about it. All right, so then we've got the crown. The crown, inside the crown is the vertex, the parietal line, and the apex. I mean, a little part of the apex. That's part of the crown. All of those are inserted in there. So if I tell you take it slightly above the parietal line at the center, I'm telling you to take it to the vertex. If I tell you to take it up to the apex, you take it up to the apex, which is the highest portion of the head. So the measurement, the exactness of what we're doing. Now, one thing about the vertex, that's where the cowlicks are. If you look at somebody's head, the back of their head, especially guys with the short hair, and you see the cowlicks, those whorls, those things that go around in the back of their head back here, and sometimes mine, you've seen some of mine, because one time I had my hair sticking up. I got after my cameraman for that. But anyways, that's where the cowlicks are at. So you know that is the exact area where the vertex is at. All right. So let's say number 9 is the occipital. That's where you have maximum amount of hair. That's where all of it is at, pretty much. This is where most of your hair is at. And then we have the nape. We have the perimeter line. Inside the nape, however, is the area behind the ear. Again, cowlicks. When you're going really short, you need to know where that's at. If you know exactly where they end, right at that center nape, where it comes in, again, helps you do a perfect mohawk. I don't measure when I do my mohawks. I just do them. Look in the mirror a little bit to clean it up, but I'm not concerned. I do the mohawk and then I just kind of clean up a bit. I always leave it a little wider first just to make sure. But yeah, if you know where the upper ridge is at, that's your mohawk line right there. It's right at, it follows the vertex all the way back. I mean, the apex into the vertex. All right, see, now we're starting to speak the same language because you know where you're at. Apex, vertex right there. Coming straight down the occipital to the area between the nape, between the area behind the ear at the nape line, that's your mohawk. Okay, so knowing where you're at is extreme. The interior, that's all of this hair. That's all this hair inside. That's the interior. Interior means inside. Perimeter line, a perimeter is like a wall. So that's your hairline. All right? So all of these things, the tragus is that little nodule. You see, if you can see it on this guy. Little nodule right there on the ear. That's a point of measure for sideburns. Your ears are a point of measure on each side of the head. You don't need to keep looking in the mirror to see, well, okay, did I get it even on that side? Do I need to turn it around? Do I need to look at the ears? I know people say one's a little higher than the other. Well, take a look at that before you make that decision. Are this person's ears really that much higher than the other? So those are the real facts about cutting. And so as I teach, I go back to all of this, learn it, get it. So when you're watching someone cut as well, call those spots out that they're on. They're not going to call them. They're going to say from here, take it over there. Take it a little higher right here. Well, where is here? If you know where the lower ridge is at, you can do a fade because that's where it ends. That's where the head starts curving around to go up. Let me show you that. See it? Do you see the comb leave the head right there? So if you take a clipper and you come straight up, you're not going to cut this hair above it. You're just going to cut up to the lower ridge. So it travels all around. That is that specific line. Now we're all, again, doing what? Speaking the same language. So when you get ready to cut with a clipper, the first thing I teach my students, well, first of all, I teach them how to hold a clipper. And I prefer, my preference is the Ulster. A lot of people don't like them because they're big. I love them. I'm going to tell you, in the past, having 5 people at a time, taking care of 5 clients at one time, chemical, cut, style, whatever, I didn't worry about being bogged down with my clipper. And the thing about the other clippers, what I like about the wall clipper is I don't have to have 5 or 6 clippers. That's one of the reasons you see barbers with several clippers, is because it gets hot. So then they pick up another one. Oh, by the way, it's out, you guys. Please subscribe, support. If you want to learn color, the last chapter is for you. If you don't know this about color, what's in this book, you're going to keep guessing. You've got to know what makes what and what are we working with. You've got to know what is against you and what is with you on what you're applying. So yeah, look it up. Trust your PhD stylist. ABE Books gives it a 5-star rating. So I'm impressed with that. I'm glad about that. But most of them are just salon situations, things that we go through in the salon. It's going to give you another perspective when you talk to your stylist. But it's just facts. Just like doctors. Sometimes they walk out of their office and it's like they don't discuss anything that they're feeling other than with the staff or somebody they trust. Same thing with a stylist. But remember that last chapter, it's for you. Has everything to do with color. Everything you need to know about color. Now, I'll be honest, you still have to learn product. But the thing about that is if you know how it's made, you know how to mix it to create a result. Please don't use the word neutralize or cancel. What does that teach you? But if you say create, it starts hitting you in the chest a little bit and you're thinking, man, I got to make this. What's my result going to be? What should it be? So what makes what? All right? So yeah, anyways, take the time, do it. I would appreciate it. It's pretty cool. It's got some neat stories in there. I've just started, when you write it, it takes, you read it so much, you don't see it anymore. So just started reading some of the chapters and I got to tell you, I'm happy with it. But okay, let's go back to this. Okay, so when you're cutting, and you can see my little mannequin here has really got wavy hair. When you hold the clipper, can you hold it in this form? Yes. The problem is when your elbow is up, it causes more strain on your shoulders and your neck. You want your elbows down as often as possible. That's one of the reasons we have hydraulic chairs. Move them up, move them down, make it work for you. That client's only going to be there for a little bit. All right? So, and then knowing where you're at on the head form. So when I start my students out with clipper cutting, of course, the first thing I have them do is I have them hold a clipper and then I have them move their wrist up and down. I make them do that 10 times. Now when they're holding the shear, it's the same thing. We have the way that I teach them, I'm going to use my texture shear just to show you. You hold it with the balls of your fingers, the ends of your finger. This is primary position. This is secondary. This is extended. Now I could say palm down. But what if I say palm down and then diagonal? But what if I say secondary diagonal? So you already know that. You're not thinking, oh, do I have my palm down? Extended, diagonal, straight. All right? Either way, knowing that this is primary, secondary, extended is a big help. So I want to get started on this. So my students practice first. Hold it underneath. Get the feel of it. Feel your clipper. If you're right-handed, you're going to hold it in your right hand. And you're going to hold the comb in your left hand. You're going to comb the hair down. Now this is why I'm saying the parietal line to the tip of the ear. There's the tip of his ear. I'm going to bring it straight out. All right, I'm going to carve it from the scalp out. Oh, this is going to give me a little bit of a problem because it's tangly, but we're going to win this little argument. So I'm going to bring it straight out, and you see my angle. Okay, I'm not going to cut it with that comb perfectly straight in that direction. The comb is held at an angle, but then the comb then is turned at a slight angle. What I want is the hair underneath to be a little shorter, as you can see that it will be, and the hair up above to be a little longer. Now, when you're cutting with a clipper, do not go above, do not go under, you stay on the comb, and it's better to use a clipper comb when you're doing this as well. So, there you go. This one's a little bit noisier. I'm holding it. I'm going to bring it straight down. And you can see, okay, I've got a little bit of a line right here that I want to change because I changed my angle. I've got to take it to the parietal line. Now, let me show you that line. I'm going to show you the line I'm talking about. I mean, sometimes, you know, when we think we're so perfect. Do you see this? This says that I brought the comb down. The comb needs to be held. Pretend this is a box. And you're on the top right-hand corner and the bottom left. All right? That's how you hold it, but then you invert it. Evidently, I brought my comb down before I cut. So, and there's the proof. And I show that to the students. So I'm showing it to you as well. So I'm going to take it again. And my excuse, and it's an excuse, is that this mannequin sucks. Okay, so there you go. All right, now, and you can see that that's a little bit longer and we're shorter there. I want to invert it in just a tad. There you go. Now you see that nice line coming down. All right, that line then, because see I held it out, so of course it's going to drop down. It's not going to be way up here. I'm cutting it longer. That line now is going to travel and follow the nape. I'm going to create a happy face. Now, I will tell you, I have the students cut off an inch at a time. Practice, cut it, look at it. Practice, cut it, look at it. Make sure that your comb is held parietal line, tip of the ear, and slightly turned up a bit. All right? This creates a shorter area here and slightly longer underneath when you bring all that hair down. That's just what's going to happen. That's the geometry behind this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my guide up here, not this one, the one that's a little bit higher. I'm going to pick it up at the nape, and this mannequin, like I said, is going to make me crazy. So I'm going to pick it up underneath here. Still, I'm following the square. What I end up doing in the end is I end up with a V in the back. I'm having to reach over because I'm trying to teach you guys. Again, now remember, oh no, I want it this way, don't I? Nope, I want it the other way because I want that shorter. Again, oh, I got a corner right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. There it is. See it? There's the corner. Again, and you're going to get that. You look at it. What have I got? What did I just do? All right, I'm going to come up here now. Same angle. I know you can't see it. I'm going to turn my mannequin just a bit. Hopefully you'll be able to see it because I'm cutting cockeye here. Okay, see the comb is at an angle. I'm taking that off. Okay, what is this corner right here? What's causing that? Can anybody tell me what's causing that? Those of you that have had my classes, what is causing this corner right here? Yes, the nape, right here. That grows in that direction. I held it straight out. It's going to come back and take the form of that just like a uniform layer does. Just like with a uniform layer, you end up with a mullet, right? Why? Because the hair grows around in this form and you held it straight out. So I'm going to take just this little corner. See it? And the comb again, this angle, slightly shifted. A little bit more. There you go. Now it's coming in, just give it just a skosh more. All right, now we're coming in with it. So you can see that, and I'm going to, because this mannequin is driving me nuts, I'm going to take it off the top. You see the comb is still the same. See this angle? It's the exact same angle still. That hasn't changed. I'm just coming into the back of it, and I'm going in backwards, and it's not wrong to do that. Now what you're seeing there is part of the beard. So I want to make sure that you get all of this, because I don't want to confuse you with it. But you see a line, and then what ends up happening once you've done that, the hair will comb back. Because what? Shorter moves longer. All right? So the hair, this hair down here is shorter, moves longer. The longer is on top. And you're cutting at this angle, so it's going to follow it. All right? All right. So I'm not going to do the other side to repeat this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some scissor over comb. Some clipper over comb. And people have asked, can you use a trimmer to do clipper over comb? Yes, you can. You don't have to use the heavy-duty clippers. So I'm going to take a little bit more off. Pick this up right here. Take it off. And again, Oster, I love this clipper. Again, same angle, but this is a trimmer, so it says I don't like to do what the other one does, because the other one's bigger than me. See it? It's coming in. Now I will show you something that happens. I'm going to hold it this way, again, because it's making me crazy. There you go. Picking it up. Don't cut to cut. Now I'm an experienced hair cutter. I've been doing this over 50 years, and I teach a lot of barbering techniques. The one thing that I see barbers do, and I don't understand it, and I'm not condemning them for it, but when you're in this industry, your time is money. And I think I got a hair in my mouth. Anyways, I see them tap it with the clipper where they just take off a spot. The hardest line to remove is a hard line, and that's what they're creating. And then they spend hours getting rid of it. If they're going to fade up to this area, see now the ear is a point of measure. Know where your point of measure is. If you know where you're at, you know where you're going. It's not here, it's not there, it has a specific. So the tip of the ear is normally where they take it, or right at the tragus. And then they spend hours trying to get that to become even. Why not, if you're going to take all this off, for goodness sake, take it off. Go ahead and take it off to that point. And then don't fight it anymore. But yeah, then, I see it all the time. And I guess, it's a method. It's not wrong. But what is your time factor in this industry? Your time is money. Okay, what I would do, now this is too short to do it, but what I would do if this was longer, I would have parted it down the center and brought it down. But you can see that, you can see the line. Okay, I'm going to bring it up for you. See it? There it is. That line on top. I got a little corner right here. I'm going to get rid of it just with my trimmer. I'm going to come down to the bottom, again, still at that extreme angle. So now what I'm going to do, and I'm only doing half a head more because of the time factor that we've got. How much time do we have, cameraman?
6.
I have 6 minutes. All right. So I want you to see what I'm going to follow the exact same pattern, take it a whole lot shorter. But before I do, let me show you something on the other side. You notice we're holding the comb from the back of the head forward, right? And we're holding it from the parietal line to tip of the ear. I can't tell you how many times when I teach this that people come here and want to use the same angle as they did on the other side. Okay? It's now, we're still traveling to the back of the head. The end of the comb follows into the occipital. It's not like this, because if I tell you to hold it like this, on this side, let me turn her around again. Turn him around. Okay, see the comb? All right. See the comb? That's what I'm talking about. That would be the wrong angle. That's why you've got to know where the parietal line is at, where the tip of the ear is at. So know that you would come on the other side doing exactly the same thing. However, it's going to look a little different. Both ways you're traveling away from the head. Not up on top of the head, but away from the head. But I get this so many times that it's forced me to back up and show them that before they do it. And I can't, I mean, so many times students look at me and go, oh, yeah. So let's do the other side. I'm just going to do one side for you, but this is a tapering. I am going to be doing a video on, for some reason, my most popular video. I don't know why. I wish some of you guys would tell me why. My most popular video is the spiral wrap. So I'm going to do another spiral wrap perm, but this time piggyback, to show you how to piggyback a spiral wrap perm. There are specifics with that, and rod size and color become very, very important to decrease the area for error. All right, so start this again. This time I'm going to go really tight. And you can see the line. See it? And it goes back. Real nice. I got a little corner right there. Now, ask me where that comes from. Comes from this corner. Let me get that comb, carve it under there. There you go. You see how that, see that hard line? You know why? What did I just do? I held my comb like this. I needed to hold my comb. See, just when you think you're so perfect, there, so soften it up a little bit, but it's still there. Very hard to get rid of a hard line. And then I'm going to go under here. So when you do this, it's best to cut longer and then go into shorter. So are you seeing this cut come in? Look at the haircuts that you see on other people with a little bit longer hair. Eventually, yes, I'm going to fade this mannequin. And you're probably wondering if I'm going to teach clipper cutting for the beard. Yes, I am, but on real people. This does nothing to teach you. It's rounded with the beard trim. With the beard trim, you really need to understand facial shape and facial features as well. So, you know, so I will be doing it. And normally I do it when I have models that have a beard and I talk to you about why. There's the whys on that. So check those out. But anyways, I would drop this down and make it all blend. So I would take a small section. I would take the upper ridge first, bring it down and make it blend to this line only. I would not take it higher. I want it down at the lower ridge. And this mannequin doesn't do anything to help me. How am I, cameraman? Am I overtime?
No, but you want to do a start-stop?
Yeah, why don't we do a start-stop?
Back on.
Okay, back on? Okay. So, I brought this down to show you. All right? That's pretty short down there. So I'm going to bring it down to the lower ridge because I know where it's at and this thing's driving me nuts. Normally, if you don't have a problem with it, you carve under. But I'm carving over again. A little long one there. Come on, sucker. There you go. So what I want to show you is what this is going to do. This hair is going in all different directions. So you do not clipper cut wet hair. You're going to ruin your blades. All right? If you want to spend more money on blades, that's up to you. But and I see people doing that sometimes, going in and clipper cutting wet hair, but you should not. Not if you want your clippers to last you a while. There you go. And now, okay, that's starting to go back, but you see how it's doing that? All right, what tool do I need? My texture shear. The comb and the texture shear are going to direct this hair to go back. So I have them going back. And I got a couple long ones coming out here. Come on now, don't make a liar out of me. Let's do this. Yeah, it's trying to go back. There you go. It's still a little bit rough. Get it just a little bit wetter there. There you go. Let's see, now it's going back. I got one little scraggler there, probably just, but you see that this is just a nice fit. It, you know, this hair would then be brought down again, follow that nape line. What if we have really long hair when we're done with this? What if, you know, this person has got really long hair, we're trying to get rid of it? Well, just hold it out at a 90. And this is where then you would, along this area, you would, instead of clipper over comb, same angle. How you hold it is a big factor. Shear over comb. See that? And the same angle, same thing. I'm not doing anything different. Look at that. It's coming down. There you go. And I've only done half a head here, but I would continue bringing this down and I would only cut it to this area. The reason for that is because he may want to part it to the side, he may want to wear it, long on top. We don't know that. So I'm going to, because I've already got that wet, I'm going to go ahead and wet it and bring it down and just do it shear over comb. And how you hold your shear, okay? Secondary position. Primary position. So I'm going to go back. I know where that lower ridge is at. I know that I need to take it from the tip of the ear to the parietal line. And then this goes back. You see how nice that comes back now? And I would just bring it all over. So see, this is longer because it traveled down to this area. But look at how it feeds in nicely as it goes back. The whole idea to this, let me show you what I'm talking about. If I take it and cut it horizontally, you see that hard line right there. Now watch what else happens. It says, I'm going to stick out. I'm not going to lay back. Shorter moves longer. This is a little bit longer right there, so it's going to stick out. So what I want is, again, use the correct angle. Now I'm coming up a little higher than what I want, but that's okay. Now it's laying back. And if it doesn't, what do I use? My texture shear with the comb directing it backwards. All right, so I hope this helped you a little bit. I know it's not perfectly clean. The beard doesn't help us any, but this particular mannequin, I wanted to do it on a male mannequin instead of a female mannequin. Let me wet it again here. But just know that the biggest part of hair cutting is knowing where you're at to know where you're going. It's all in the geometry of it. And I would be doing, if I got my razor out, I could see where I could be doing some sculpture cutting to kind of let it blend in a little more. And that's called razor over comb. It's just a circular motion that you do. You just kind of scrape it a bit with the razor. What you're doing is getting rid of all those little lines right there. And it makes it look like it's all one hair coming down. So it just depends on what your client wants. What does your client want? So we went from the tragus as a point of measure. We went at a slight angle, parietal line to tip of the ear, and then we traveled up. The comb was also held at a slight angle inward, so that this was just a little shorter here, longer on this side. See, when you hold it at that angle, this hair is going to be longer. Let me show you. See it? This hair is going to be shorter. This hair is going to be longer because of the way it falls into the comb. That's normal. Look at it that way. When you come straight up, you may not get that until you get around just above the parietal line, maybe into the lower ridge when you're going straight up. But the point is, you're going to have all of these hairs exactly the same length, where you're not going to get the movement. It's not going to hug itself to go back. Shorter moves longer, and you'll see it more and more as you do it. I hope again that this helped you. I know this was just more like an introduction, but this is the biggest problem that I have with my students right here, this area. And then, of course, they know because we speak a lot about the nape line. How do you find the nape line? How did I show you to do that? Index finger, place it here. Comfortably, do not direct it. Place it here, place it right there. See it? Right there. I'm not doing anything, I'm not directing it, it's just sliding back. Goes right to my knowledge bone. That is your nape line. I can do it with this. See it? I'm not directing it. I mean, I could try and direct it. I don't want to direct it. It's going to fall down. Look, I can do it with my thumb. Just goes right down around that rounded area. If I'm forcing it, I'm forcing it around the head. I don't want to force it. Fall, fall, fall. There it goes. Just goes right to the center, right where that knowledge bone is at. So know where you're at on the head form. With shorter hair, you made a mistake, it's going to show. Longer hair, you make a mistake, cover it up. You know, you can style it in a way that they can't really see it. Unless, of course, it lands and it's real long on one side, short on the other. And where does that come? What happens with that? If you have one side longer than the other, where does that happen? Especially after you finish the cut. Can anybody answer that? Right here. Why? This is a corner. And the other factor is you should always go side to center, side to center. When you travel around, this is what you'll do. You'll stand back here, start here. All right, I'm starting here. This is a normal movement. Watch. See how far away I am? See how far away I am? Push, pull. That's that theory. So always side to center, or center to side. Do not go all the way around. Have an idea where you're at, again, to know where you're going. I hope you enjoyed this class. Good luck. Any questions, comments, please leave them in. I will be doing that spiral wrap. I will be doing that horizontal thing. I know I promised you in the past that I would do it, and I will. I'll do it for you. It's a time factor thing between teaching and trying to, you know, take care of stuff. So take care, God bless, and get the book. It's a good book. Take care.